Amy Ruman won the final Trans Am of 2014. She's ripped off 3 in a row to start the new season.
We're on a hot streak, baby. Woo-woo!
At Road Atlanta, her arch rival, 2-time defending champion Doug Peterson could do nothing but watch her drive away.
No power. I've had to change all of my shift once. No power.
Today, the fight resumes in a smaller ring. This is the short track of road course's beautiful Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. Trans Am racing coming your way next on CBS Sports Network. Welcome to Lime Rock Park. We're in Lakeville, Connecticut for Trans Am, America's road racing series. Today, it's the three-dimensional services Next Dimension 100. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. NASCAR star Michael McDowell and I will have the call in a few moments. Shea Adam with our pit road coverage in just a couple as well. We've got a chance to make some history today here at Lime Rock Park at this most historic venue. This is a 1.5-mile racetrack about an hour north of New York, and this is one of the places where Trans Am began back in the 1960s. Trans Am star Amy Ruman going for her 5th consecutive victory spanning 2 seasons. She's unbeaten so far in 2015. Can she continue? And in TA3, which will run with Trans Am today, Ernie Francis Jr. going for his 2nd consecutive win. Todd Napierowski and a host of others will be trying to put an end to his bid to extend his winning streak as well. Let's find out more of today's top stories. Downstairs to Shea.
It's a big weekend for Amy Ruman in the number 23 car right behind me. She leads the points coming into this event at Lime Rock. 4 consecutive wins, looking for her 5th. But in order to do it, she's going to have to get through some very tough competition. First up, we have Doug Peterson. Doug, who we will hear from later in the race, is eager to get back to victory lane. He's never won here at Lime Rock, and he wants desperately to win. But in order for him to get to the front, it'll be through Mr. Paul Fix. Paul has won the last 2 races here at Lime Rock in the last 2 years. He is a Trans Am champion. He knows how to get things done. And Paul, you are starting from the best grid position today, P1. What do you have to do to keep it clean through the first turn?
Well, this is one of my favorite tracks, and Tony Ave put a great car underneath me, so just got to do what I did in qualifying, put down some nice, clean 50-second laps, and we should go green all the way.
The boss had a pretty successful day in his TA2 race. Does that add any pressure to you?
No, not to me. I'm going to run my own race. You know, great for Tony and the team, and hope to bring him home another championship for this race.
Paul Fix has been doing a good job of that at Lime Rock. 2 wins in the last 2 years, looking to make it 3.
All right, Shea Adam, Paul Fix will lead the field to green here at Lime Rock Park in just a couple of moments. Great crowd on hand as always. One of the places, Michael McDowell, where this series began more than 50 seasons ago.
Oh, so much history at Lime Rock Park, and it's one of those tracks that still takes your breath away. Coming down the hill, it's so fast in these Trans Am cars.
Take a look at the championship standings now as we work toward round number 4 of this season. Amy Ruman with a 21-point lead over Paul Fix, who is your pole sitter today. The 2-time defending champ Doug Peterson needs to get going. He's 31 points back.
Amy's had such a dominant performance all year long. You know, 3 wins in a row, plus the one last year, so 4 wins in a row. She's going to be hard to stop.
She starts 3rd here today. She's got to be disappointed with that qualifying effort alongside the Wisconsin veteran Cliff Eben in his Ford. Simon Gregg will start 5th. How about Adam Andretti jumping into a TA car?
I'm really looking forward to see how Adam does in the big bore, big horsepower TA cars. We see him in the TA2 class, runs very competitively, and now he's at Lime Rock Park in the TA car.
Now joining Trans Am today, TA3 will be part of the Next Dimension 100 on this track that is 58 years old. 1.5 miles will go 67 laps, 75 minutes depending on time. TA3 American and International, Ernie Francis, Todd Napierowski, they've got a great battle going for the championship in TA3 American. TA3 International, Lee Saunders has been the dominant player there so far this year in that Dodge Viper. Won the season opener at Sebring, has been strong ever since. Before the drivers strapped into these race cars, Shea Adam caught up with Ernie Francis Jr.
Our youngest Trans Am champion ever, Ernie Francis Jr., has been having a great start to this year. You've 4 consecutive poles. You got 2 wins in the last 2 weeks between the Trans Am series and another series. What's the secret to your success?
Just trying to play a consistent race most of the time, and just trying to keep it safe out there. It's a long race and it's a long season, and you're not going to win in the first turn. You're not going to win in the first race. So I'm just trying to get good finishes every race weekend and then taking it down to the championship.
You've got a bit of a buffer today between you and second place. What do you use to your advantage in order to maybe get away from Naparowski a little bit?
I'm just going to try and use some of the TA3I guys, just trying to use as a pick, just keep me away from the other guys in my class, and then just hopefully keep them all behind me.
Michael McDowell, Ernie Francis is fast, but he's talking about playing defense here.
Yeah, Lime Rock Park's one of those tracks. You want to be on the offense. You got to push this track hard. You got to get good runs to time your passes.
Todd Napierowski will line up alongside Francis in terms of TA3A cars, but some international cars will actually grid between the two because of qualifying time. Steve Strymer in a Viper. Randy Mueller's been fast in the BMW, and there's Lee Saunders, the points leader, back in the third row.
Yeah, Lee's got a little bit of work to do there. You know, we normally see him starting up in those first two rows, but, you know, like I said, this is a long race. It's a very difficult racetrack. It's narrow. It's very easy to make a mistake, so you have to hit your marks, and you got to be consistent.
Safety car looking to lead the field down the Sam Posey straightaway. Sam, a dear friend, longtime broadcast colleague of ours, one of the drivers honored here at Lime Rock Park. Field ready to take the green. Glad to have you with us for the Next Dimension 100 on the CBS Sports Network, and we are underway. Doug Peterson on the outside of your pole sitter, Paul Fix. The TA3 field coming down the front straightaway as well. Oh, we've got trouble in turn number 1. Amy Ruhlman, who's won 3 in a row, has gone around. There's been some contact. She gets the car pointed in the right direction. Fix, Peterson, and Cliff Evan, your top 3. Let's take another look, Michael, and see what happened here.
Oh, man, Simon gets right in the back of Amy. They're headed down into turn 1.
Got a couple of looks on it for you from Adam Andretti's on board now from Simon Drake's viewpoint. Oh, there's the contact.
Now, there was a little bit more to it than we first saw. As you can see, Amy's running up on the inside of Doug, checks up on the brakes, and gets run over.
And Peterson had gotten into Paul Fix. He was trying to turn down into the corner. He rubbed on the 4 car a little bit.
And this happens on starts and restarts. You head down into turn 1. Everybody's fighting for that bottom. You're hard on the brakes, and a chain reaction just happened there.
So Amy Ruhlman, trying for 4 straight to open up this season, has a big deficit to overcome. The leaders now back on the front straightaway. Paul Fix is out in front. Peterson in second. Evan third. Simon Gregg under attack on the inside. Here comes John Bauckham in the 86 and Jim McAleese in the 03 car.
And we don't quite see Amy Ruhlman in that picture yet, which tells us that she has a big deficit to make up. Now, Lime Rock is a track that if you hit all your marks and you charge hard, you can make up that time, but it's very difficult to pass. And like you said, Amy's on 3 straight wins. This might be the day that we see a different race winner.
She's got tremendous heart, tremendous desire to win this championship and to keep knocking down race wins, but Paul Fix, the fast qualifier, continuing to add to his lead in the early laps here at Lime Rock Park in northwestern Connecticut. Now Amy Ruhlman's going to have to come from the back here. She can certainly, and the 59, Gregg puts a wheel off. Meantime, Adam Andretti making a move on Simon Gregg for 4th spot.
Adam just capitalized on a mistake that Simon made coming down the hill there. Tough place to pass, but when you have a run like that, you got to take advantage of it.
Down into turn 1 here at scenic Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. Track undergoing major renovations now. It's great to see this track that's been around almost 60 seasons. Our home racetrack, really, where I grew up in this part of the state. And Amy Ruhlman currently 11th on the racetrack. Great to see him putting a lot of money into improvements here to keep road racing healthy in this part of the northeastern United States. Amy knows she's got to strap in, hold that wheel nicely, and start making good, clean laps.
Yeah, she's got to just knock them off like they're qualifying laps. You can't hold back. When you have that much of a deficit, you just got to push, push, push. Now, if we get a caution in this race, that'll change the game for sure. That'll make up some of that time. But if you don't get a caution, you can't bank on that happening. So she just got to run as hard as she can and try to make up that deficit.
Just a little bit of damage to the rear, to the under tray there of the 23 car. Meantime, it is still Paul Fix, Doug Peterson, your top 2. As we work lap number 4, the exit of turn 1, very short straightaway here into 2.
Yeah, the left-hander, the right-hander, and then you have a no-name straightaway here. So one of those tracks that, like I said, you just don't get that time to take a break. We see Ernie Francis Jr. out front here, which is what we've been seeing these last 3 or 4 races in the TA3 category. Ernie Francis Jr. has been dominant.
Right behind him, Randy Mueller in that BMW, so strong at Road Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, had a mechanical failure, a gearbox problem. Ernie Francis in his breathless performance Chevrolet doesn't have to worry about using anybody as a pick at the moment. He's kind of driven away from the rest of the field.
He's starting to stretch that lead and check out. And that's something that you want to manage when you're here at these racetracks. You don't want to be just 5, 6, 7 seconds out there just running your equipment, sliding your tires, all those things. You want to save that so that you have a little bit at the end. He's a young guy, pushes very hard, very fast, but managing the race is very important.
On board here with Mueller in the BMW. He's the TA3 International leader. Second is Strymer. Third, Lee Saunders. 2 wins and a second so far this season.
I think that Viper's just struggling on the tight, technical, twisty track of Lime Rock Park.
That's a car with big horsepower. We'll see how he does when we come back at Lime Rock Park.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven.
Welcome back to beautiful Lime Rock Park in northwestern Connecticut. The Next Dimension 100 Trans Am coverage here on the CBS Sports Network with Michael McDowell. I'm Rick Benjamin. Jay Adam with our coverage on pit road. TA3 heavy battling there. Michael Caboose in the 08 putting pressure on Lee Mueller from third. But how about this, Michael? You've got to have your eyes on your mirror. Trans Am traffic right behind.
And it's so difficult to do it. Downhill section, very high speed, and you got TA cars whizzing through the inside.
Adam Andretti in the silver 47, the ECC car, trying to get around Cliff Evan for 4th spot here. In turn, some contact, and Andretti goes around.
Oh, and he gets tagged by Tom Nevzorowski there. Just the wrong place at the wrong time.
Heavy traffic, of course, between Trans Am and TA3 A&I. The engineered components Chevrolet, driven by Adam Andretti. First time this season for Adam in a TA ride. He's challenging for 4th. Let's go on board with the 47. Had to get off the gas. Looks clean there. He got bumped.
Yeah, much like we saw in turn 1 at the start of the race with Amy Ruman, is that, you're checking up, you're on the brakes hard, trying to navigate traffic. It looks like he just got nailed.
On board, Todd Napierowski here in the Tremec Chevrolet. Sees all this happening in front of him. Tries to go high. No racetrack there.
Oh, just nowhere to go. And Todd was an instant bystander there. But what I did see is that Simon Gregg is who got into Adam Andretti. And we saw earlier in the race, Simon made contact with Amy Ruman, now Adam Andretti.
Looks like Simon Gregg may pay the price for that. It appears he may have a tire rub on the 59, the 08, the Epic Motorsports BMW. That's Michael Caboose, the teammate to race leader Randy Mueller in front of the 59. And then you've got Lee Saunders in the Viper, Bauckham in a Trans Am car. That's his Ford out of Charlotte, the RoadRaceParts.com yellow machine there. Simon Gregg seems to be okay, Mike.
Yeah, you don't know if it's just cosmetic, that body work, that right front fender, left front fender, just push down on the tire. That'll eventually wear itself out to where he won't have an issue or he'll have a tire issue. So we just got to see over laps what happens with Simon Gregg.
All Fix continues to lead Trans Am in the Stop Flex 4 car. Out of the upstate New York area, Doug Peterson, the 2-time defending Trans Am champion, the 3Dimensional.com 87, running in second spot in front of Cliff Evan. Good run for Evan in that Mustang. There's the 98, the breathless entry in TA3 American. Race leader Ernie Francis Jr. moving over to let the faster Trans Am cars go by.
And we've seen a tight battle up front in TA here. Now, one thing that I know for sure, Paul Fix circled Lime Rock Park on his calendar. This was a track that he knew that he would have a shot at winning. He just got to manage the traffic very well. Doug Peterson's one of those guys that we always see charge hard late at an event. So Paul's just got to conserve, make good decisions, time that pass perfectly when he's getting around those slower cars, and keep Doug at bay.
Race leader Ernie Francis Jr. in TA3 American. Meantime trouble for Todd Napierowski. Here's Shay.
Well, Todd Napierowski, this is not the way we wanted to see your weekend come to an end. What happened out there?
No, it's unfortunate. Not much I could do. 2 TA cars collected each other into one, and they were spinning in front of me, and one was hooking and looking like he was going to go inside. So I moved right, and he ended up parking it right there, and there was just nowhere to go. So it's unfortunate. We were just settling into a good rhythm and just cleared all the traffic from the start. And we were just getting into a good rhythm, and we're ready to start going. And that's racing, though. There's not much I could do.
Thanks.
Certainly looked, Michael McDowell, as though Todd Napierowski had nowhere to go. He couldn't exactly turn inside. He might have been able to go off the track completely, but he had a 100th of a second to make that decision.
Like you said, it is a split-second decision. Todd had nowhere to go. Definitely not on him. Unfortunate to see that much damage taking him out of the race.
Top 3 in Trans Am continuing to pull away from the field. Amy Ruman back in 7th, trying to gain ground and get back into contention here. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll be right back at Lime Rock. Earlier on the weekend at Lime Rock Park, Trans Am drivers welcoming the fans to the event, signing plenty of posters and hero cards. Always accessible, these Trans Am driving stars. Welcome back to the Next Dimensional 100. Alongside Michael McDowell, I'm Rick Benjamin. Randy Mueller in the 0, continuing to lead TA3 International. Randy Mueller had problems with that car at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, you know, he had a gearbox issue, was really doing a great job at Road Atlanta, leading a lot of that race. And you can see now, him and Ernie Francis Jr. are having a great battle on the racetrack. Now, it's not for position, but these cars are very evenly matched in TA3I and TA3A.
Take a look at what these classes comprise. Production-based cars in TA3. You've got GT2 rules in play here, but internationally, BMW and Porsche, and then Viper and the Corvette.
Yeah, really fun to see these cars go head-to-head. Like you said, such a diverse group here. You got a BMW, Porsche, and then you have a Viper as well, so very cool.
TA3 Americans, strictly Mustangs, Camaros, Dodge Challengers, limited to around 400 horsepower.
Now these cars, what's really interesting to see is there's a lot of differences in the classes, but there's a lot of inner battles going on as we see Ernie Francis Jr. battling with Bueller.
John Bauckham, meantime, in his Trans Am Mustang up to 4th from 8th on the grid, right in front of the 23, the McNichol Chevrolet of 3-time winner Amy Ruman. She is the points leader, making her way back up through the field. She's got time here.
Yeah, Amy's done a great job. You know, she's been slowly getting through the field and now working her way into the top 5.
Amy Ruman didn't plan it this way after that first lap spin, no question, but she knows there are opportunities to pass. Shay talked to her about that earlier.
Well, I think it's probably on the straightaway into 1 in the 2-3 combination. Those are probably your best bet, maybe on the downhill. But like I said, it's real short, not a lot of places to pass, so you need to strike when you can.
You need to strike when you can. That's really something in any form of racing, Michael McDowell, that you've got to take advantage of.
Yeah, when you get to the racetrack and you start the race weekend, you circle key corners. These are the corners I need to be good. This is where I need to be strong. And they usually will lead onto a straightaway that has a deep braking zone. Downhill here, very tricky, very fast. We ride with Simon Gregg. This corner takes your breath away, but this leads onto the straightaway and the deepest braking zone that we have, turn 1. This is the best place to make those passes.
You see Simon grab high gear as he came off that final corner. Meantime, Ruman makes an inside move on Bauckham to pick up a spot.
And she is making her way to the front. I hope that by the end we see Amy battling for the win.
Up to 4th right now. A full course yellow would help her significantly to try to close the gap here. Let's get an update from the pit stall of Amy Ruman. Downstairs to Shay Adams.
Amy Ruman is now up to 4th place as she continues to pick people off. The crew telling me she is silent on the radio. She's just doing her thing and going to work. And look, it's making a difference. Already up to 4th. She's not done yet.
When you get silent, that means 2 things. You're either extremely focused or extremely upset. I think Amy's both after that first lap incident.
She's got plenty of spirit. There's no question about that. The bit in her teeth, Amy Ruman trying to get back into contention here in the Next Dimension 100 at Lime Rock Park. Leading the Trans Am points. She's told us since last year, since really before that, how important it would be to her to win this championship. Second-generation driver. Her dad, Bob, owns the team. Bob raced in Trans Am as a driver for many, many years. One of the great guys in this sport. Paul Fix is your leader, meantime, with the Stopflex 4. That Chevrolet out of the Tony Ave Racing Stables. Tony competing in Trans Am 2 this weekend. Had a great day here. We'll have coverage of that event for you coming up in a few days here on the CBS Sports Network. TA3, TA3 International and American. Lots of action in play there as the Trans Am cars work their way by. Randy Mueller leads Steve Strymer and Michael Camus, your top 3 in TA3 International.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Racing Electronics, #1 in race communications worldwide. And by Replay XD. The new Prime X is here. Record, replay.
Back at Lime Rock Park, Next Dimensional 100 approaching the midway point, and Paul Fix has led all the way. Doug Peterson in the 87, the 3Dimensional.com Chevrolet, the 2-time series champion. He is putting lots of pressure on Fix out of turn 1.
Yeah, this is a great battle between the 2 Ave Corvettes. Doug Peterson is putting that pressure on Paul, but we see Doug really manage these races well. I talk about it over and over again, but he's one of those guys that waits until the last 5 to 10 laps in these races. Then he'll push as hard as he can. Cliff
Edmond back there in 3rd in the Mustang, the 36. Great job for Cliff. One of his best outings in quite some time as the leaders work their way by some TA3 American muscle traffic. Taking a look at that running order in TA3 International. Jason Berkeley runs 4th in front of Lee Saunders. Saunders has been so strong in that Viper, just has not seemed to be able to come to grips with Lime Rock this weekend. Doug Peterson running 2nd. Let's climb on board the 87 car into 1.
I love those onboard shots. Just listening and hearing these TA cars 800 horsepower to the rear wheels, a lot of throttle management here at Lime Rock Park. It's very tight corners, and when you put 800 horsepower down to the ground through that Hoosier tire, you got to know how to work that throttle. A lot of fun with onboard cameras.
Amy Ruman, meantime, in turn 1, trying to reel those leaders in. She's got to keep that car straight and smooth, and also be up on the wheel if she's going to close the gap.
Now, Amy's not dealing with a lot of traffic right now, and this is good for her. This is going to allow her just to hit her marks while the other cars are fighting that traffic, hopefully gain some seconds that she needs so she can contend for this win.
Top 3 has to work their way by some TA3 international traffic. Steve Strymer in the 42. Peterson takes a look to the inside.
Yeah, that was great. Paul did a little bit of a block there, just to guard that inside to keep Doug at bay.
Doug Peterson, the 2-time defending series champion, one of the real veterans of the sport. Before the start, we talked to him about racing against drivers that are maybe half his age.
You know, I'm getting kind of long on the tooth here, and we've had a few little issues with the car. Atlanta, I mean, that was my track with the right setup, so that would have done well. But yeah, we definitely have the young crew of people coming in. Amy's done great, Paul Fix, even the old timers like Cliff Eben have been really getting close. So I don't know, I just keep doing what I do and hope that maybe a little bit of luck comes my way.
Well, Doug Peterson's got plenty of talent to go along with that good fortune that any winning driver needs. Here he is to the inside of Fix again, heading into 1.
He keeps looking, he keeps peeking. Eventually, he's going to make an attempt at that pass.
On board with Paul Fix in the Stopflex Chevrolet, the 4 car out of the Tony Ave shops. He prepares, Tony does, both of these 2 cars. The Eben car, the 36 back there, Tony's got heavy involvement with that team as well. He drives their TA2 Mustang. Meantime, here comes the McNichols Chevrolet of Amy Ruman. 3 times a winner so far, 4 in a row going back to 2014. Trying to get herself back into contention. Let's get on board the Chevrolet. How tempting is it, Michael, to keep your foot in it going up the hill?
Going up the hill in a Trans Am car is unbelievable. You know, you got that light sensation as the car crests the hill. You have to have the wheels straight, otherwise you'll get loose, you'll get tight, and you'll run out of road. Meantime,
in TA3, on board with Russ Snow here in the 20 out of North Carolina. His Corvette, a TA3 International contender normally. He's had trouble coming to grips with this place.
You know, I think that this track suits the BMWs, the Porsches, the smaller cars that are more nimble. You get a Corvette, a Viper. Those cars need straightaways, big horsepower. So this is a trick and tight, twisty track here at Lime Rock, and I think those cars just need a little bit more space to open up their legs.
Past halfway, still a 3-way battle up front here. As we watch the 4 of Fix, the 87 of Peterson, the 37 of Eben. TA3 International right behind. Looks like Lee Saunders starting to rumble a little bit there in the 84. Saunders with a couple of victories so far this season. He's had difficulty with that Viper. We talked about it earlier. That may be the opposite kind of race car, what Michael just referenced. The Viper, much heavier, lots more horsepower, that V10 engine. Maybe not the right car for this mile-and-a-half racetrack.
But we go to a lot of tracks like Road Atlanta, Road America, where you can really open up those motors. What I like to see is I like to see the diversity that we have in the Trans Am series. You don't want a car that's just dominant everywhere, and that's what's great about what's happening in all these different divisions. We don't see runaways. Other than Ernie Francis Jr., we've had very competitive battles throughout all the categories of the Trans Am series.
Lee Saunders in front of Mueller on the racetrack. He is about to go a lap down to the TA3 leaders. Russ Snow in the mix as well. Francis and Mueller have got a great battle going on for overall honors in TA3.
And the overall class is something that it's an inter-competitive battle. You don't hear it a lot on the TV, but I heard Ernie Francis Jr. say, hey, at Road Atlanta, we won overall. So right then, I knew that that is important to him.
Russ Snow trying to make a move to the inside, and Mueller in the 0. Mueller wanting to work his way by Saunders. Meantime, at the head of the overall battle in Trans Am, you've still got the 4 of Fix, leading the 87 of Peterson, the 36 of Eben, and Amy Ruman back there trying to make some headway. No full course cautions, which would help Amy's effort tremendously if she could restart right behind these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. What I like what Cliff Eben is doing here, he's letting these 2 guys battle it out, duke it out. He's sitting back there just waiting to hopefully have an opportunity to pounce.
It is warm here at Lime Rock Park this weekend. As we get on board with Peterson on the front straightaway, longest straightaway by far here at Lime Rock Park. Tire wear could be an issue here. And it could be that Evan is just letting those two leaders kind of work each other over.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to talk to a lot of the Trans Am drivers about this new Hoosier tire, and they say they can pound it hard and it just stays underneath them. But what we heard from Doug Peterson is he's not the young whippersnapper he used to be. So these hot conditions, no straightaway, it can be physically wearing just as much as it is on the cars.
Amy Ruman reeling in some of the TA3 leaders to put them another lap down now. Saunders getting passed there by Francis. Russ Snow at the back of this group. Amy can't be too patient here.
Amy's definitely got to work hard through this traffic, but she's the points leader. She can't take too many risks.
Leaders in TA3 International closing in on Kerry Hitt's Trans Am. Oh, trouble in turn one. Doug Peterson has gone around. Contact. It looks like that's Mickey Wright in the 6 car. She goes off through the grass toward the tire barrier. That'll bring out, if not a full course yellow, certainly a local yellow at the end of the front straightaway. Peterson running second, gets pointed in the right direction, has to get back up on the racetrack. He's lost a ton of ground, has given up second spot to Cliff Evan, has given up third to Amy Ruman. One more look at it here from Peterson's onboard. Closing in on the front straightaway, going by a T8. Oh! That's Mickey Wright in the blue car there, way off the pace. Fix had to go into the grass to get around it.
Man, that was just really unfortunate. Mickey had Paul on the outside, was watching him slide off the racetrack, didn't even know Doug was on the inside. Oh, man, that's so unfortunate for the leaders to have that kind of late race incident. Doug was doing a fantastic job, was going to challenge for this win, and we see him with a flat left rear tire. Going to have to go on pit road to get it fixed. A shame for the three-dimensional services, 87 for Doug Peterson.
That will end Peterson's opportunity to win here. In all likelihood, the right rear comes off the rim. He's going to try to guide that car safely on the pit road. He'll be able to do that. Peeled the tire right off it. Paul Fix, meantime, what a great save. Coming up on the much slower car, Mickey Wright. Let's go downstairs. Shea Adam as Peterson comes to a stop.
Not good news for Doug Peterson as he grinds to a halt in pit lane. He has a flat tire on the left side of his car due to contact. He turned off the engine, though. This is not good for Doug Peterson. He does not have a win at this circuit, and it will not be coming today.
Wow, Doug Peterson's team, the threedimensional.com bunch, having to shut the car down to check for damage, evidently, as well as change the tire. Up front, how about Evan now, right up behind Paul Fix. What a save by Fix in the dirt going into turn one. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Lime Rock Park. We're in Northwestern Connecticut for the Next Dimension 100 Trans Am round number 4 on the season with Michael McDowell. I'm Rick Benjamin, watching Amy Ruman, who's won the first 3 races in the series, try to come back after a first lap incident. She is trying to reel in the leaders as the laps wind down, just more than 20 to go. And Amy Ruman all by herself now. Doug Peterson out, though. That's got to help her effort.
Yeah, definitely. You know, she's fighting hard to get as many spots as she can. They almost took care of themselves and put her back up in the front. As we see, Amy's just working that traffic, trying to get as far up to the front as she can.
Shea Adam, meantime, ready to talk to a disappointed Doug Peterson.
Well, this isn't the way we wanted to see your race ended. We much prefer a podium, but what happened out there? It looked like chaos.
Well, this threedimensional.com was spot on today. I was just biding my time, but we had a little collage into turn one with some of the inexperienced people, and it's just a racing deal. You know, I just wish I could have finished the race because Grandpa was in control today.
Next year you'll get Lime Rock.
Oh yeah, next year.
Very confident sounding Doug Peterson. Seems as though he's accepted what happened with not the kind of frustration you might have thought.
No, but I like the comment, Grandpa was in charge, and we saw that. Doug was just biding his time there, working Paul pretty hard, but definitely had a car that could contend for the win.
Leaves Paul Fix alone in front. Adam Andretti back on the racetrack in the 47 car. He is about to go a lap down, it appears, to Fix in the Stop Flex 4. Now, Paul Fix has had plenty of success here at Lime Rock Park over the last couple of seasons. He's got to be concerned now about Cliff Evan and that Mustang.
And we don't know with Paul, too. We saw that incident. He ran off track, had a little bit of contact, and that could just break his momentum, or there might be some handling issues that he's having. Cliff has been in third. He's been running strong the entire race. When Doug fell out, now he's the guy that challenged Paul for the win. So hopefully we will see a battle for the lead before the end of this race.
Cliff Evan in that stump Ford Mustang, the 36 out of Wisconsin. A ton of SCCA national wins in amateur competition in GT1. Here at Trans Am, Evan's been close with no cigar over the last couple of years. Maybe today's the day. Fix has led from the drop of the green. He's been masterful here on this mile-and-a-half short track of road courses. Meantime, Amy Ruman up to third now with Peterson falling out as she wheels the McNichols Chevrolet, the 23, navigating that TA3 international traffic, but unable to get close to the leaders.
And we see a lot of debris in Amy's room in front of her car there. She got some grass. Not sure if that's going to cause some issues later on.
Ruman moving by one of the two epic BMWs. Getting set to hit the downhill part of this racetrack under the bridge. How hard is it to wheel one of these high horsepower cars when you come under that bridge, Michael, onto the front straight?
Well, TV does not do the downhill justice. That is a steep drop down in. It's a blind corner as you approach it. The car gets very light, and then when it compresses, it loads up all at once. It is a corner that is a handful to hold on to these race cars.
The Epic Motorsports BMW 0, Randy Mueller out of South Florida. He has led all the way in TA3 International today. How dominant he was at Road Atlanta just a couple of weeks ago. Had that gearbox failure, had to pull off the racetrack in the late laps. And Ernie Francis Jr., the defending TA3 American Muscle Champion, has led all the way so far in the 98 car. The 0 and the 98, very even in speed, it appears, Michael.
Yeah, both classes here. We got our leaders in class, but they're racing each other as well. Ernie Francis Jr. wants nothing more than to get around Randy Mueller for the overall in TA3.
Russ Snow back there in the 20 in TA3 International. David Pintarek there out of Ohio in the Kreider Racing 57, 6th in Trans Am. There's Todd Rubright in the American Muscle 77 car, 4th in that category as race leader Paul Fix works his way by.
Now, Paul stretched out the lead a little bit here from Cliff Evans.
Oh, trouble. Adam Andretti locks him up and goes sliding into the soft wall. Heavy hit for Andretti in his first Trans Am start in that ECC 47. He's had a raft of problems today. Coming up the hill, that's an odd place to get into the wall.
And that is a high speed. That is not a place on the racetrack that you want to make contact. Luckily, there's tires there behind that guardrail.
Let's take another look at what happened as the field comes up the hill. Andretti just turns right.
It looks like the car got loose as he approached the crest of the hill. Maybe a little bit of wheel spin and then heavy contact into the guardrail.
We have an onboard look at it for you. Onboard here with Adam Andretti. Up behind the 03.
And you could hear when the car got light at the crest of the hill, Adam was hard in the gas, tires were spinning, and that's how he lost control.
Adam Andretti in his first Trans Am start brings out a full course yellow. This may give Amy Ruman an opportunity here with just a handful of laps to go. She'll restart third with less than 20 remaining. Lime Rock Park, always a place where the Trans Am Racing Series puts on terrific shows. The Next Dimension 100 today has been full of action. I'm Rick Benjamin, Michael McDowell alongside Shea Adam on pit road. Safety car heading to pit road for a late restart with just a handful of laps left. Can three-time winner Amy Ruman make a move from third on this restart? She's looking inside.
And Amy jumps out of line very quickly there. She wants to challenge for this win.
Paul Fix, though, leads it back into one. Cliff Evans in the 36 is second. Amy Ruman to the inside of the 23 in third position with maybe an opportunity here.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity. That yellow is what Amy wanted to see. Have a shot at getting to Cliff Evans, maybe even a shot at Paul Fix here. But it's not going to be easy. It's not like those guys weren't challenging for the win prior to the caution. Paul's been very quick all day long. Not going to be an easy task.
Now, we heard Doug Peterson say before his incident, he was just biding his time. The question is, was Paul Fix also biding his time? Does he have a lot left in that four-car?
Well, you never know. Like I said, when Paul came to Lime Rock Park, he knew that this was a race that he could win. May have been saving his equipment to the very end as he stretches out that lead.
Evan in second in the four, and the Chevrolet Corvette of Amy Ruman in third position. The 03 of Jim McAleese is next in line. Then we've got some American and international contenders in TA3. Your top three on lap 61. John Bauckham fourth in the scoring order ahead of Pintarek and Simon Gregg. McAleese not fourth in the running order there. He's back in seventh in front of Hitt and Mickey Wright, who had that incident earlier. Going down into turn one, it looked as though she was kind of the center post in a pinball game there for a moment. On board here with Ruman up through the S's.
And Amy is putting the pressure on Cliff there, sticking her nose in, left, right, really pouncing hard.
Great Replay XD onboard looks here as always. Lime Rock Park in northwestern Connecticut. Amy Ruman reeling in Cliff Eben for second spot as they start down the hill.
And this is where you set up your pass. You want to get a great run down the hill, leading onto the straightaway so that you can overtake going down into turn 1.
On board with Eben here, who has not put a wheel wrong. Down into turn 1. He's done a masterful job, the veteran of SCCA national competition, moving into the pro ranks in Trans Am a couple of years ago. Nice and smooth on the throttle.
And that's what it's about at Lime Rock Park. Very easy to see a mistake. We've seen it all day long. At the end of the race, you're pushing hard. You're trying to get everything out of that race car that it'll give you, but one little bit too much, and you slide off the course.
Like the NASCAR Sprint Cup cars you drive almost every weekend, Michael McDowell, you can spin the tires in these Trans Am cars pretty easily.
Yeah, plenty of horsepower in this Trans Am car. Very easy to light up those rear tires.
Meantime, in TA3 International, Randy Mueller from South Florida and the Epic Motorsports BMW has led from the drop of the green, does not put a wheel wrong. This is the stage of the race where if you've dominated, you're thinking, uh-oh, what can go wrong now?
Yeah, and for Randy, coming off a Road Atlanta where he had another dominant performance, then had the gearbox troubles, he is just hoping, okay, let me see the white flag and get that checkered. Not a lot of pressure for him in this race, but we're not to the end yet, so you just got to make sure you don't make any mistakes, especially when you have a dominant performance like he has had.
Ernie Francis Jr. in the breathless performance Camaro has led all the way in TA3 American Muscle. He talked to pre-race about how he had won overall in TA3 at Road Atlanta. Randy Mueller's got him covered here at the moment.
Yeah, and this is where Ernie's just got to be real mature. He's a young driver, full of fire, really aggressive, but he's leading his class. He's going to extend that points lead. Same thing, just not making a mistake. And he has that little bit of extra bit of competition where he's like, I want to run Randy down, but is it worth it?
Trans Am battling here. Cherry Hit up behind the 59 car of Simon Gregg. Both of those drivers trailing David Pintaric's Kreider Racing Chevrolet. Pintarik and Gregg carrying that new Corvette C7R bodywork that's so beautiful. If you get a chance to see one of these Trans Am machines with that new Corvette bodywork up close, take a good look. It's fantastic. Meantime, Fix in the older body style Chevrolet trying to hold back this driver, Cliff Eben, in the Ford, the 36.
Now, Cliff's taking a little bit more risk here at the end of the race. Doesn't want to lose sight of the leader. And with traffic, how you time it is going to really change those gaps that you see. We've seen this accordion effect where they're right together and then it gets stretched out. Coming up to the last few laps of this race, you want to hit that traffic just right.
Trans Am cars will see the one to go. If Amy Ruman is going to make a move, it's got to be now as she comes down the hill behind Eben, battling for second.
And Cliff has done a great job of getting off the corner, leading onto the straightaway. A little bit of traffic, but Amy does have a run and maybe a shot down in turn 1.
All Fix, meantime, has opened the lead back up. About a dozen car lengths to the good for Fix out of upstate New York. In the Stopplex Chevrolet, the 4-car, he has led start to finish. He's been under heavy pressure much of the day. Now he's got an opportunity to maybe drive off into the sunset a little bit.
Well, coming to the white flag there, he had 5-6 car length lead. That's what you want to see. This is probably the largest lead that Paul's had the entire race. So on the last lap here, just not making any mistakes.
Cliff Eben still second. Amy Ruman with the benefit of that full course caution from the Adam Andretti wreck a moment ago. Able to close right in on the second place car, but she has not been able to mount an attack to this point. Fix down the hill for the final time here at Lime Rock today. Heading to the checkered flag in the Next Dimension 100. TA3 action in front of him, but Paul Fix is your winner of the Next Dimension 100 in the Trans Am Series. Ernie Francis Jr. continuing to lead TA3 American. Fix is your winner. A flag-to-flag victory.
3! That's 3 in a row! Pole to pole, everything!
Paul's wife Lauren Fix obviously very happy. Paul has won this race now 3 consecutive seasons in TA3, fighting to the end. Randy Mueller comes home the winner in TA3 International, and Ernie Francis Jr. in the breathless performance Chevrolet, your winner in TA3 American Muscle. Paul Fix waving to the big crowd here at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. When we come back, we'll talk to the winners.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven.
Back at Lime Rock Park in northwestern Connecticut, Paul Fix out of the 4-car, saluting the crew, excited, certainly having won this race 3 consecutive years, bagging his first Trans Am win of 2015, stamping himself as a championship contender. We're still in the early part of this season. Fix the winner, Eben second. He gains ground on Amy Ruman, who won the first 3 races.
And Amy did a fantastic job all the way to the back of the field, turn 1 incident, charged hard all race long to get onto the podium.
John Bauckham and David Pintark, the rest of the top 5 in front of the veterans, Simon Gregg and Doug Peterson, has to settle for 11th. Shea is downstairs with our winner.
Well, for the 3rd year in a row, it's Paul Fix who finishes first at Lime Rock Park. Congratulations, Paul. That was a hard-fought battle.
It was tough at the beginning, but I kept the gap. So that was the key to success. Just hold on to the end, and Tony gave me a great car, and we persevere. It's a trifecta, 3 years in a row.
And a win for your team owner earlier as well, Tony Ave. It's a clean sweep for your team, but not a clean sweep for your car. Got a bit of grass on the front grille. What happened there?
Well, lap car, front straight. I guess they didn't see me going on the outside, which is uncharacteristic, but I was pinched between 2 cars. So I had to make a decision because the guy behind me was so close. Well, I made that decision and got onto the grass.
Luckily, that decision does not affect your ability to intake some champagne. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, Paul Fix will enjoy the winner's spoils there, talking about the move he made to get around Mickey Wright onto the grass. Great save. How about this? Just 12 markers now behind Amy Ruman is Paul Fix after today's race win, leading all the laps, picking up some bonus points as well. Eben, Peterson, and Bauckham, the rest of the top 5. Shea's caught up to our 3rd place finisher.
Amy Ruman, it's not where I'm used to speaking you, but I have to say that was one of the hardest fought charges back I've ever seen through the field. What was going through your mind when you were first spun off the course?
Well, as usual, you can't win the race on the first corner of the first lap, but people don't listen to that and they don't think. So unfortunately, we got the raw end of the deal, but we fought back, fought hard, got to the podium. It's all we could ask for with the disastrous first corner, first debacle of a lap. You know, they're professional race car drivers. You'd think they'd use their brain a little bit more. But, you know, this Mick Nichols 23 has been fast all weekend. We were one of the ones to beat. It was clear and evident that, you know, we came back, battled back, and got us the 3rd, still leading the points, I think. So, you know, on to the next.
Good attitude.
Thanks.
A great recovery for Amy Ruman. Obviously upset, but did a great job getting back on the podium.
All right, TA3 American Muscle. Ernie Francis Jr. leads flag to flag over Chris DeSalvo in the 61. Mel Shaw, Tim Rubright in that Mustang, the 77. Todd Napierowski, who should have been right there in the fight. Car damage takes him out early. Mueller and his teammate Michael Camus, 1st and 2nd. Jason Berkeley ends up in 3rd spot. Back downstairs to Shea.
Our other TA3 winner is none other than Randy Mueller. Randy, you got pole at Road Atlanta. Now you got the win here. Congratulations. What was your car like today?
The car was really great. The crew did a really good job at, with getting the car to work well around the track. This track favors our car. It's, you're always turning. There's no time to rest. And our cars are really good in the turns as opposed to the straightaways. We don't, we're lighter and less powerful. So we get it done in the turns, and the car was working really good. It was hooked up.
What does this victory mean to you and the team as a whole?
It means a lot to me. I mean, we've been working hard at it. We've had a couple close, almost there, and it just fell apart. I had a transmission let go at Road Atlanta after leading half the race. Michael Camus, he had led the race at Homestead for 75% of the race, and he had a problem. So, they've been working so hard, and it feels so good to put it there, to give it to them. Yeah, it's good. It feels great. Excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's check the point standings after the Lime Rock round. Saunders leading TA3 International, even though he struggled here. More than 25, well, it is 25 points over Russ Snow, Green, Jason Berkeley, and Clint Sawinski. And TA3 American, Ernie Francis Jr. has reestablished the lead.
Yeah, just a dominant performance again, like we saw at Road Atlanta. Ernie Francis Jr. is going to be hard to stop.
For us, we'll return to coverage of the Trans Am Series at Brainerd International Raceway in Minnesota. That event takes place on July 4th weekend. We will have the coverage for you here on the CBS Sports Network. For Michael McDowell and Shea Adam, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating Paul Fix, Ernie Francis, and Randy Mueller, your winners today of the Next Dimension 100. Thanks for watching the Trans Am Series on the CBS Sports Network.